Sunday, May 17th. It's the medical miracle that saved this teenage transplant patient from certain death.
There was a time when we didn't have these devices, and we used to literally watch people die.
I realized how fragile life is.
Don't miss the inspirational story behind Jessica's heart of gold. Up next.
The teenager having a heart attack is a very, very rare event.
The riveting life and death story behind this young girl's fight for life and the new technology that helps save her.
Now the teenager whose troubles would be too much for many adults. But our Ed Miller found that Jessica Melore is making the most of a life-threatening situation.
At age 16, Jessica Melore had her entire life ahead of her. She'd been co-captain of her high school tennis team, sang in the choir, and was looking forward to college. Then, this past summer, while her family was celebrating an aunt's birthday, Jessica fell ill. She was having a heart attack.
I felt a heaviness in my arms and a pain, pressure pains going from my chest to my neck.
My wife says Jessica was white as a ghost. She never saw anybody as pale. Her lips had no color whatsoever. The first thing that struck me was that she may be having a heart attack, so we called 911.
How many 16-year-olds do we all know that have had a heart attack? In the sense that most of the patients that have heart attacks are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. The teenager having a heart attack is a very, very rare event.
But this was an extremely unusual case. Jessica's heart was so damaged that doctors suggested a transplant.
The problem is that there's a long waiting list for heart transplants, so something had to be done to keep her alive until a heart became available.
Jessica was rescued by a technological marvel, the HeartMate, a battery-powered system that took over the pumping function on the left side of her heart. Dr. Eisen explains.
There was a time about 5, 6 years ago when we didn't have these devices, and we used to literally watch people die, and there was nothing that we could do.
But Jessica went through other complications.
They had to put a balloon pump on her artery of her leg to help save her life. And sometimes this balloon pump cuts off circulation to extremities. And they said if we don't remove her leg, she won't have any chance.
When I woke up in the hospital and eventually realized that I was missing part of my leg and that I was faced with a heart transplant sometime in the spring, I was shocked and a bit depressed, but I realized that this is the situation I'm put in, and so I just have to deal with it and move on.
Within 5 days of her release from the hospital, Jessica was back at school. And while waiting for her new heart, she was accepted to Princeton University. Meanwhile, Jessica's friends and neighbors held numerous fundraisers for the miracle teen and others in need of transplants.
With us today, a special guest, Jessica Melore.
I can't even begin to describe how much I appreciate it and how much people have reached out to me and almost adopted me as part of their family by showing so much support and encouragement. I mean, just by this happening, I'm getting to meet all of you today, which is certainly a pleasure. Although I've always been an optimist, I realize how fragile life is and how much we really should appreciate it and live it to the fullest.
And for more information, you can contact the National Transplant Assistance Fund at P.O. Box 258, Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, 19010.